Um, and I remember they transferred me from. I had only been in prison for probably like 4 months before this day. I was in A Block in Elmira, and I was just reading. And then I forgot the book that I was reading, but I remember it was a book on. It was a book about African American males in the coming up in like the 50s, the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, and there was something about a man who was talking about his childhood. I don't. It's crazy because you would think a moment like that I would remember, but I don't remember the exact book or what it said. But I'll tell you what it did for me. The guy was talking about when he was a kid and the type of kid he was, and he was always a well mannered kid. And as he grew, he became influenced by his surroundings. And I'm like, man, and the first thing I saw was me as a kid, maybe like 10 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old. I would come home from school, and my mom's at this point, I didn't have any chores. I just grabbed my bike and I'd be gone, man. And I was just a free spirited little kid, go get up with my boy, and we just have fun all through the day. For some reason, I saw that little boy. And when I saw him, it was like this overwhelming feeling of joy because I was like, yo, that's 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 me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not um, L. I'm not Big L. I'm not L Nevada. I'm not Nevada. I'm him. I'm Alfonso. I'm Goldie, who my grandmother used to call me. And I identified with him, and it felt so good to be able to like feel like I was able to like hug that little boy, and I'm like, that's me. And I said, I'm never letting him go. I'm never letting that little boy go because that's who I am. I'm not the bravado, the super fly fur coat, Range Rover, chains, crew. You know, yeah. I still I still like cars and clothes and all of that as well, but they're they're on me. They're not. It's not in me. It's just on me. It's just an addition to me. Before I thought that was me. And once I identified with that the younger version of me, man, I just it was a breakthrough for me. Um, so going forward in my bid, man, I the more I read, the more the author would refer other authors with throughout the book. He might quote a book within the reading, and I would look it up and I would go get the book that he quoted. So eventually, I began to knock down books, and I'm reading about different black men who didn't sell drugs and who were very successful in a time where racism was a lot more prevalent. And I guess the competitive spirit in me, um, it was agitated, and it's almost like I thought to myself, so you had to sell crack, you had to sell cocaine. These dudes came up selling insurance. They were funeral home owners. Um, just A.G. Gaston. He came all the way up on hotels and well, motels and restaurants, and I was inspired by that. And quite frankly, although I was still selling drugs and getting a lot of money, I was tired of it. Um, but the lifestyle I had become so accustomed to it that I never exercised my will to break away from it. But I but I do remember having a disdain for it, wanting to be legal, legit. It was just a certain thing that had over me. I felt like the legit man was better than me for some reason. I was the street hood hustling dude, yeah, doing what I do on homes in Miami, rocking out, chilling with the crew, doing what I'm popping bottles. For years I did this. But I didn't feel comfortable in spaces where it was a bunch of legitimate men who had as much as me, and in many cases, a lot more than me. And that's just something that I was interested in and I wanted.